Adding information. Furthermore. Introduces extra information to support idea. Online learning is flexible. Furthermore, it offers access to global educational content. The policy increases job opportunities. Furthermore, it reduces poverty in urban areas. Public transport reduces traffic. Furthermore, it decreases air pollution in urban areas. Moreover, adds more details to strengthen point. The solution is cost-effective. Moreover, it minimizes long-term environmental damage. Moreover, high-speed internet promotes economic growth in remote and rural regions. Students are taught to think critically. Moreover, they learn problem-solving techniques. In addition, used to include another detail. In addition, bilingualism enhances cognitive skills and opens global job opportunities. Traffic congestion is worsening. In addition, public transport remains underdeveloped. The course includes reading assignments. In addition, it features interactive workshops. Also, add something to previous statement. Public transportation is efficient. Also, it reduces the carbon footprint in urban areas. Volunteering builds empathy. It also helps individuals develop leadership and social skills. Education improves job prospects. It also contributes to personal growth and confidence. As well as includes something along with another. Social media connects people as well as influences opinions and consumer behavior. Overpopulation causes unemployment as well as strains natural and social resources. Good nutrition maintains health as well as supports physical and mental development. What's more, emphasizes an extra surprising point. The policy reduces pollution. What's more, it creates thousands of new green jobs. The law is fair. What's more, it protects vulnerable community members effectively. Recycling saves energy. What's more, it conserves valuable natural and raw materials. Besides, gives another reason or extra point. Besides job creation, infrastructure development stimulates overall economic growth. Besides affordable tuition, the university offers excellent academic and career services. Besides lowering emissions, electric cars reduce long-term fuel and maintenance costs. Not only that, Introduces another important added fact. The job pays well. Not only that, it includes comprehensive health insurance coverage. The proposal lacks funding. Not only that, it overlooks key implementation challenges. The company faced losses. Not only that, employees reported poor working conditions. Additionally, provides more relevant or supporting information. The team achieved their goals. Additionally, they stayed under budget and on schedule. Online classes are flexible. Additionally, they eliminate commuting and related expenses. The new model saves energy. Additionally, it operates with minimal noise and disruption. Giving examples. For example, used to show a specific case. Global cities, for example, Tokyo, face severe overpopulation and housing shortages. Some mammals, for example, dolphins, display remarkable problem-solving capabilities. Developing countries, for example, Bangladesh, are investing more in renewable energy. For instance, introduces a specific relevant case. Obesity leads to various health problems. For instance, it increases the risk of diabetes. Many countries support art. For instance, Italy funds public cultural institutions heavily. Many people suffer from stress. For instance, students face constant academic pressure. Such as shows specific items from a group. Soft skills, such as communication and teamwork, are highly valued by employers. Creative subjects, such as music and art, enhance cognitive development significantly. Government support, such as subsidies and grants, encourages small business growth. Namely, introduces exact names or details. There are several types of renewable energy, namely solar, wind, hydro, and geothermal. The project targets two areas, namely urban pollution and public transportation systems. Two issues remain, namely high inflation and unemployment, hindering economic growth. To illustrate, used to explain by example. Many students benefit from visual aids. To illustrate, charts clarify complex data quickly. Climate change affects wildlife. To illustrate, polar bears struggle to find hunting grounds. Many cities face traffic congestion. To illustrate, Mumbai's daily jams are extremely severe. Like. Introduces a similar or related case. Many people enjoy outdoor activities like hiking, cycling, and camping during summer. There are numerous ways to cook chicken, like grilling, roasting, or sautéing with herbs. Developed countries, like Germany, often invest heavily in vocational training programs. In particular, emphasizes a specific important case. European countries, in particular Germany, lead in renewable energy development. Sports, in particular swimming, greatly enhance cardiovascular health and endurance. Students, in particular teenagers, are vulnerable to online misinformation and scams. Especially highlights something more significant. Reading improves vocabulary, especially when done consistently from a young age. Renewable sources, especially solar panels, are increasingly affordable for households. Social media has a strong impact, especially on younger and impressionable audiences. A case in point. An example supporting the main idea. Climate change affects health. A case in point is rising asthma rates from pollution. Social media affects behavior. A case in point is viral trends influencing teen choices. A case in point is Canada's inclusive policies, promoting multiculturalism and diversity. As an illustration, offers an example to clarify something. As an illustration, many cities have already implemented effective recycling programs. Poor nutrition affects children. As an illustration, stunted growth is common in poverty. Language barriers cause issues. As an illustration, migrants struggle with job applications. Expressing cause and reason. Because indicates the cause of something happening. The country progressed quickly because its government invested heavily in education. Tourism has increased because international travel is now cheaper and more accessible. Traffic congestion worsens daily because more people are purchasing personal vehicles. Since shows a reason for an action taken. Air quality has improved since the government imposed strict pollution regulations. The area has become more developed since the construction of new infrastructures. Crime rates have declined since security cameras were installed in all neighborhoods. As expresses the reason for an event. As people live longer, healthcare systems face increased pressure and responsibility. As the population grows, housing demand continues to increase significantly each year. As environmental awareness rises, more people are opting for sustainable alternatives. Due to, caused by a specific factor. Due to the increasing number of visitors, the museum extended its operating hours. Due to climate change, many coastal cities are experiencing frequent flooding incidents. Due to technological advances, many manual jobs are becoming obsolete or automated. Owing to, happened as a result of something. Owing to rising oil prices, transportation costs have significantly increased this year. Owing to recent changes in legislation, the industry has seen significant adjustments. Owing to globalization, cultures around the world are becoming more interconnected. Because of, explains why something took place. The local wildlife population decreased because of deforestation in surrounding areas. The city has become overcrowded because of rapid urbanization over the past decade. The company introduced new policies because of the rising competition in the market. In view of, taking something into account carefully. In view of rising pollution levels, stricter regulations must be implemented immediately. The council decided to postpone the event in view of the unfavorable weather forecast. In view of declining enrollment, the university revamped its marketing strategies entirely. Thanks to, resulted positively from someone or something. Thanks to increased awareness, more people are adopting sustainable living practices. The country has made progress thanks to effective international partnerships in trade. Thanks to the efforts of environmentalists, new conservation laws have been enacted. For the reason that, specifies the explanation behind something. We must reconsider our policies for the reason that current strategies are ineffective. The proposal was rejected for the reason that it lacked sufficient evidence and support. They postponed the meeting for the reason that several key members were unavailable. Considering that, taking a situation or fact seriously. Considering that the industry is evolving, companies must innovate to remain relevant. Considering that the research findings were inconclusive, further studies are necessary. Considering that the data shows promising results, we can move forward with the plan. Expressing effect and result. Therefore, it shows a conclusion from information. Job opportunities are scarce, therefore, skills training programs must be introduced. Many people lack proper healthcare, therefore, healthcare reform is urgently needed. The data supports the hypothesis, therefore, we can proceed with further experiments. Thus, it indicates what follows logically next. The country adopted new technologies, thus boosting economic growth significantly. Prices have dropped significantly, thus, more people can now afford basic necessities. She studied consistently throughout the semester, thus, she scored highly on all exams. Hence, it signals a result or conclusion. The population is growing rapidly, hence, resource management strategies are needed. The environment is deteriorating, hence, stricter environmental laws must be enforced. He lacked relevant experience, hence, he wasn't considered for the managerial position. As a result, it introduces something caused by something. The forest was illegally cleared. As a result, several species lost their natural habitat. The training was intensive. As a result, employees performed better in real scenarios. The government increased funding for education. As a result, literacy rates improved. Consequently, it presents an effect of earlier actions. They ignored repeated warnings, consequently, they were fined heavily for negligence. He submitted false documents, consequently, his application was permanently rejected. The industry faced heavy competition, consequently, companies had to innovate rapidly. Accordingly, it introduces something done in response. The decision was based on evidence, accordingly, the policy was adjusted accordingly. The performance review was excellent, accordingly, she was granted a salary increase. The data was analyzed thoroughly, accordingly, the results were carefully interpreted. So, it connects cause and resulting outcome. The issue was resolved quickly, so the team resumed their work without further delay. Many industries are struggling, so economic diversification is crucial to ensure stability. Technology is advancing rapidly, so continuous training and development are necessary. This means that it explains the previous information clearly. The glacier is melting rapidly. This means that sea levels may rise significantly soon. The population is increasing rapidly. This means that more resources will be needed. Job automation is increasing. This means that manual labor will face greater challenges. For this reason, it introduces the motivation behind something. The economy is growing steadily. For this reason, many are optimistic about the future. The product failed to meet standards. For this reason, it was withdrawn from the market. For this reason, job creation initiatives are crucial to reduce the rising unemployment rate. That's why it gives an explanation or reason. Air pollution is increasing, and that's why stricter environmental laws must be enforced. Inequality is growing, and that's why wealth redistribution policies should be considered. The team worked efficiently under pressure. That's why they completed the task on time. Contrasting ideas. However, introduces a different or opposite idea. The proposal was innovative, however, it lacked sufficient data to support its claims. She was qualified, however, the interview panel chose someone with more experience. The theory sounds convincing, however, no real-world evidence has been provided yet. Nevertheless, shows contrast despite a previous statement. The evidence is limited, nevertheless, the hypothesis remains scientifically intriguing. The task was daunting, nevertheless, she managed to complete it ahead of schedule. The study was complex, nevertheless, the researchers were confident in their findings. Nonetheless, indicates something happens despite earlier point. The theory had flaws, nonetheless, it contributed significantly to scientific research. Public transport is unreliable, nonetheless, many commuters still depend on it daily. The results were inconclusive, nonetheless, the experiment provided valuable insights. On the other hand, presents an alternative or opposing view. Some prefer traditional methods, on the other hand, others advocate for innovation. Online education offers flexibility, on the other hand, it lacks face-to-face interaction. Many students excel in exams. On the other hand, others struggle to meet expectations. Whereas shows a contrast between two different facts. Some students excel in theory, whereas others perform better in practical situations. This approach is inclusive, whereas the previous one excluded minority perspectives. The city is known for its cultural diversity, whereas the countryside is more traditional. While indicates contrast or simultaneous events happening. The economy has improved, while unemployment rates remain high in certain areas. The research was thorough, while the presentation lacked sufficient evidence and clarity. The company has expanded rapidly, while its competitors remain stagnant in the market. In contrast, highlights a significant or strong difference. In contrast to public opinion, scientific data often presents a more accurate picture. The team performed well in training. In contrast, they struggled during the competition. Public transport is eco-friendly. In contrast, private vehicles cause higher pollution levels. Although introduces a contrast between two related ideas. Although the evidence is compelling, further studies are needed to confirm the results. Although education levels have improved, inequality in access remains a pressing issue. Although the company is profitable, it continues to invest in expanding its market reach. Even though points out contradiction in a situation. Even though internet access has increased, the digital divide still exists in rural areas. Even though the team faced setbacks, they managed to complete the project on time. Even though many experts disagree, the theory still holds significant value in research. Despite expresses action happening against opposing condition. Despite the financial constraints, the project was completed within the allotted time. Despite global warnings, deforestation continues at an alarming rate in some regions. Many students perform well, despite the difficulties they face in the education system. Granting a point. Admittedly. Used when accepting something as true. Admittedly, the policy has some flaws, but its benefits outweigh the negative aspects. Admittedly, technology can be distracting, but it also enhances learning in many ways. Admittedly, the results are promising, though they require further validation and testing. It is true that accepting a fact before contrasting point. It is true that cities are growing rapidly, but rural areas are still crucial to development. It is true that technology offers convenience, yet it can also reduce human interaction. It is true that education is important, but practical experience often plays a bigger role. While it is true that acknowledging truth before giving contrast. While it is true that laws protect citizens, some legal systems remain deeply flawed. While it is true that urbanization boosts development, it strains public infrastructure. While it is true that climate change is a serious issue, immediate solutions are complex. Though used to indicate contrast or concession. Though environmental laws have improved, pollution levels remain dangerously high. Though the Internet provides valuable information, misinformation is also widespread. Though environmental awareness is rising, daily habits still harm the planet significantly. Still, despite that, the situation remains unchanged. Many steps have been taken to reduce crime, but safety remains a concern in cities. Although technological innovations are prevalent, many people still lack digital literacy. The government has introduced new policies, but unemployment is still a pressing issue. Expressing purpose. In order to indicates purpose or intention for action. The company implemented new software in order to increase operational efficiency. The government implemented new policies in order to improve the quality of education. In order to reduce pollution, the city introduced stricter regulations on vehicle emissions. So that introduces purpose or result of action. She studied late into the night so that she could pass her final exams with flying colors. The teacher explained the concept again so that all students could understand it clearly. They increased production so that they could meet the growing demand for their product. So as to shows intention or purpose for action. The organization raised awareness so as to encourage people to conserve water. They modified the design so as to enhance product durability and user satisfaction. He avoided distraction so as to concentrate fully on completing the research paper. For the purpose of. Expresses intention or goal of action. They launched a campaign for the purpose of raising awareness about climate change. He invested heavily in education for the purpose of enhancing future job opportunities. The training was designed for the purpose of boosting employee efficiency and morale. With the aim of. Indicates a goal or intended outcome. He developed this method with the aim of simplifying complex scientific processes. They revised the curriculum with the aim of encouraging critical thinking in students. The workshop was arranged with the aim of improving teachers' digital literacy skills. With the intention of. Expresses a specific purpose or plan. The bill was introduced with the intention of strengthening civil rights protections. He wrote the article with the intention of raising awareness about climate injustice. They conducted the research with the intention of developing a cure for the disease. For the sake of. In consideration of someone or something. The country introduced new laws for the sake of reducing crime rates in urban areas. For the sake of transparency, the government published a report for public scrutiny. They compromised on certain issues for the sake of maintaining a peaceful relationship. In order that. Indicates a purpose or result of action. Data was analyzed carefully in order that patterns could be accurately identified. The software was updated in order that it becomes more secure and user-friendly. He studied late in order that he would pass the entrance examination successfully. With a view to. Indicates a planned future objective or purpose. The government invested in green energy with a view to reducing carbon emissions. The policy was introduced with a view to enhancing educational opportunities for all. New regulations were passed with a view to safeguarding consumer rights effectively. Expressing comparison. Similarly. In a way that is comparable or alike. The north received heavy snowfall, similarly, the south faced intense cold waves. Physical strength is vital for athletes, similarly, mental resilience is equally important. Smoking damages the lungs, similarly, air pollution severely impacts respiratory health. Likewise. In the same manner or to the same extent. Students were given tablets. Likewise, teachers received digital training resources. High sugar intake leads to obesity. Likewise, it increases diabetes risk significantly. He believes in equality. Likewise, many advocate for fair treatment in the workplace. In the same way. Using a similar method or approach. In the same way that exercise strengthens the body, education sharpens the mind. Technology simplifies work. In the same way, it complicates personal relationships. Parents shape children's values. In the same way, teachers influence their aspirations. Equally. In the same amount or degree, uniformly. Parental guidance is important. Equally, peer influence shapes adolescent behavior. Teachers should be respected. Equally, students deserve encouragement and support. The two candidates were equally qualified for the position, making the decision difficult. Just as. In the same manner or way. Just as exercise benefits the body, meditation greatly improves mental well-being. Just as urbanization increases, natural resources are being depleted at a faster rate. Just as we depend on natural resources, we must protect them for future generations. In comparison. When comparing one thing to another. In comparison to older generations, youth today are more tech-savvy and connected. In comparison with gasoline, electric vehicles are more eco-friendly and cost-efficient. In comparison with traditional jobs, freelancing offers greater flexibility and autonomy. Correspondingly. In a way that matches or aligns. As energy demand rises, correspondingly, greenhouse gas emissions tend to increase. Health awareness is rising, correspondingly, more people are adopting plant-based diets. In comparison with previous generations, today's youth have more access to information. By the same token, for the same reason or principle, reading enhances vocabulary. By the same token, it strengthens critical thinking skills. By the same token, as education opens doors, lifelong learning continues to be crucial. We promote cultural exchange. By the same token, we discourage cultural appropriation. Much like. Similar to something in some way. Much like traditional classrooms, online learning requires discipline and self-motivation. Much like exercise improves fitness, reading enhances cognitive skills and concentration. Much like ancient civilizations, modern societies thrive on trade and the exchange of ideas. Emphasizing on something. Indeed. Used to emphasize a statement's truth. Education is, indeed, the foundation of a prosperous and progressive modern society. The new curriculum, indeed, offers more practical knowledge than theoretical content. It is, indeed, essential to address climate change through immediate global cooperation. In fact, used to clarify or confirm something. In fact, many countries struggle to provide equitable access to basic healthcare services. The problem, in fact, stems from years of neglected infrastructure and poor governance. In fact, early childhood education significantly impacts long-term academic performance. Certainly. Used to express firm agreement or assurance. These improvements, certainly, reflect the government's dedication to social welfare. Increased physical activity, certainly, contributes to better mental and physical health. Technological innovation, certainly, has reshaped the landscape of modern education. Clearly. Without confusion or ambiguity, obviously. The data, clearly supporting the hypothesis, adds credibility to the proposed theory. The evidence clearly shows a correlation between poverty and lower education levels. The data clearly demonstrates a need for improved mental health services nationwide. Obviously. Easily understood or seen without doubt. The solution, obviously more practical, gained support from both sides of the debate. The advertisement, obviously targeting young adults, used trendy language and visuals. Their opinion, obviously influenced by misinformation, lacked a solid factual foundation. Undoubtedly. Without question, certainly true or accurate. Undoubtedly, science and technology have reshaped every aspect of modern society. Undoubtedly, investing in renewable energy sources is crucial for a sustainable future. Undoubtedly, early intervention is critical in addressing learning disabilities in children. It should be noted that a phrase used to emphasize information. It should be noted that reducing waste is vital for preserving our planet's resources. It should be noted that cultural diversity enriches societies in many meaningful ways. It should be noted that education levels strongly influence employment opportunities. Without a doubt. Indicating complete certainty or assurance. The impact of social media on youth behavior is, without a doubt, a growing concern. Without a doubt, innovation is crucial to maintaining competitiveness in global markets. Without a doubt, global warming demands urgent and coordinated international action. Most importantly. Used to highlight the most significant point. Most importantly, we need to prioritize the mental well-being of our young people. Most importantly, education should aim to equip students with critical thinking skills. Most importantly, every individual should strive to make a positive impact on society. Surely. Expressing strong belief in something. Surely, the government must invest more in education to secure the nation's future. The company will surely benefit from adopting innovative strategies to stay competitive. The new law will surely have a positive impact on the country's economy in the long run. Giving opinions. In my opinion. What I personally think or believe. In my opinion, social media has a profound impact on youth behavior and attitudes. In my opinion, online learning cannot fully replace traditional classroom experiences. In my opinion, developing countries need more international support and investment. I believe that. I am convinced of something specific. I believe that effective communication is key to resolving conflicts in any organization. I believe that modern technology brings both convenience and challenges to daily life. I believe that governments should prioritize reducing inequality to ensure social justice. From my point of view, how I perceive or interpret something. From my point of view, art and music are as important as science and mathematics. From my point of view, financial literacy should be included in the school curriculum. From my point of view, public transportation needs to be more efficient and accessible. As far as I'm concerned. Regarding what I think or feel. As far as I'm concerned, hard work often outweighs natural talent in achieving success. As far as I'm concerned, investing in science leads to innovation and national progress. As far as I'm concerned, volunteer work should be encouraged in high school education. I think that my personal thoughts or judgment on something. I think that artificial intelligence will greatly impact future job markets worldwide. I think that social inequality is a major barrier to social progress in many countries. I think that access to quality healthcare should be a fundamental right for everyone. It seems to me that, based on my perspective or understanding, it seems to me that advertising greatly influences children's food and toy choices. It seems to me that stricter gun laws would reduce violence in many communities. It seems to me that economic inequality contributes to social unrest and instability. Personally, I feel, from my own emotions or viewpoint, personally, I feel that governments should focus more on poverty alleviation programs. Personally, I feel that excessive screen time can affect children's development and focus. Personally, I feel that a flexible curriculum encourages students to explore their interests. I would argue that I would state or defend my view. I would argue that fostering creativity in children is essential for their future success. I would argue that online learning can be as effective as traditional classroom teaching. I would argue that healthcare should be available to all individuals, regardless of income. To my mind, according to my thinking or perspective, to my mind, recycling should be a legal obligation in every household and business. To my mind, effective public transportation is essential for reducing urban congestion. To my mind, the digital divide creates significant barriers to access and opportunities. I am convinced that I firmly believe or am sure about something. I am convinced that lifelong learning is necessary in today's fast-evolving job market. I am convinced that technology can revolutionize healthcare accessibility in rural areas. I am convinced that global cooperation is necessary to address environmental challenges. Summarizing a point. In summary, a concise statement of main points. In summary, technology has revolutionized many aspects of our daily lives and work. In summary, the research findings suggest that climate change is accelerating rapidly. In summary, the policy changes have had both positive and negative economic impacts. To summarize, presenting main ideas in a brief form. To summarize, stricter environmental laws are crucial for preserving global biodiversity. To summarize, government support is essential for the survival of small local businesses. To summarize, investing in public health leads to long-term economic and social benefits. To sum up, concluding by reviewing key points. To sum up, effective leadership plays a key role in national development and stability. To sum up, the findings emphasize the importance of sustainable agricultural practices. The report, to summarize, emphasizes the importance of healthcare reforms in society. Overall, considering everything in a general way. Overall, students who study abroad gain valuable academic and cultural experiences. Overall, environmental education fosters a sense of responsibility in future generations. Overall, the evidence suggests that education systems need urgent reforms worldwide. In brief, summarizing something in a few words. In brief, the results show a strong correlation between exercise and mental health. The situation, in brief, shows that social media usage is growing rapidly among teens. The analysis, in brief, concludes that urbanization leads to increased air pollution levels. In short, providing a quick, concise explanation. In short, universal healthcare ensures equal access to medical services for all citizens. In short, the evidence shows that education significantly influences social equity levels. In short, the study reveals that urban development leads to environmental degradation. All in all, considering all aspects or factors together. All in all, scientific research enhances medical treatments and saves countless lives. All in all, mental health support is critical for academic and workplace performance. All in all, language skills increase job opportunities in an increasingly globalized world. In a nutshell, explaining something in a very concise manner. In a nutshell, globalization connects markets, but may threaten cultural traditions. In a nutshell, media plays a powerful role in shaping public perspectives and values. In a nutshell, deforestation threatens biodiversity and contributes to global warming. To conclude. To bring an argument or discussion to an end. To conclude, parental involvement significantly influences a child's academic success. To conclude, the evidence clearly points to the urgency of addressing climate change. To conclude, stricter regulations are essential to protect endangered wildlife species. Ultimately, in the end, after everything is considered, the judicial system ultimately upholds fairness, equality, and constitutional rights for all. Ultimately, good governance is the cornerstone of economic growth and political stability. Economic reforms, ultimately, determine the nation's ability to attract foreign investment.